welcome to the Marley Bird YouTube channel brought to you by Red Heart Yarns. In this video, you will learn the final portion of the fantastic brioche scarf. This is video 3 of a 3-part series for the fantastic brioche scarf. In this lesson, you will learn how to transition from the brioche knit stitch that you used on the body of the scarf back to a 2-color brioche ribbing and how to bind off and pattern. By this point, you have the pattern, you have the line-by-line instructions, and you have completed the ribbing and the body of the scarf up to 59 inches. You're ready to begin the 2-color ribbing brioche. 2-color brioche ribbing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and learn how to do that. I'm going to set this aside and bring in one I've been working on. Now, obviously, I am not at 59 inches. I'm not even at the distance apart as you guys are because I only have 16 stitches. But this is a good sample for me to be able to show you what you need to do. I'm at the point in the pattern where I would be ready to do the 2-color brioche ribbing, which is what we did right down here. So I am at the end of my row, and I will go ahead and I will grab my color A once again, and I will begin with row 5 of our pattern. So if you're looking at the actual pattern, it would be row 5. If you're looking at the step-by-step instructions, you are looking at row, let's see, that would be 2A. Okay, so you're looking at row 2A. So I would go ahead and I will knit my first stitch. My next stitch is a knit 2 together, which we also know as a brioche knit stitch. So I will go ahead and do my brioche knit stitch, slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit stitch, and I will continue doing this all the way down the row. If you remember correctly, way long time ago when you were doing the 2-color brioche ribbing, when we worked with 2 colors, we did not turn our work until after we completed 2 full rows. And so that's what we are going to go back to at this point. Once I get to the end of my row here, I simply will scooch my stitches down to the end of my needle, where my color B is waiting for me, and I will continue on to row 6 using my color B. So my color B is right here, grab my other needle, and I would carry on. So I knit my first stitch, and then I do my slip 1 yarn over for my next stitch, and I carry on. Oops, this is a brioche purl, so I want to make sure I do a brioche purl. You'll probably be in the same sort of boat that I am, having done all of these stitches with the brioche knit for so long. You'll have to go slowly here to remember how to do the brioche purl. And if you remember correctly, we simply move our yarn between our needles to get in the purl position, and then we purl the yarn over and the slip stitch together. It's really rather easy since you guys have already done this before. It's just a matter of reminding yourself how to do these stitches. So you would work through rows 5 through 8, just as you had done before when you started off the scarf, and you will end on a row 8, and we will bind off in pattern. Now, because I know you know how to do row 5 through 8, I'm not going to take the time to show you how to do that now. If you want a reminder on how to do 5 through 8, go ahead and visit the part 1 of this 3-part series because I go into it seriously in depth. We don't need to do that again, so I'm going to set this aside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the swatch that I showed you at the end of the part 1 video. And let's make an assumption that we are ready for our bind off. Now, the pattern states that it wants you to bind off in pattern, and I'm also going to throw in there that you should bind off loosely because you want to make sure that your final bind off doesn't cinch in and create a really kind of unsightly look. You want your bind off to give the same elasticity as the body of your scarf. In order to do that, we will begin at this point. You will have finished a row 8 as written in the pattern. You will not be using your color B anymore, so you should go ahead and cut that if you would choose to. And we will be using our color A, so we will do our bind off in color A. The difference here when we do our bind off in our regular stitches is that when we usually work this row, we would knit our first stitch just like normal. The next stitch here is our brioche knit, so let's go ahead and do our brioche knit. But now we want to bind off these stitches. So we will take our left hand needle, go into the front leg of the first stitch we knit, have it jump up and over that stitch that we had just knit. And make sure you give a little bit of slack there, a little bit of room, just to give it some looseness. Now typically what we would do now is move our yarn forward and slip one yarn over, correct? But because we don't want that yarn over anymore, we just want this singular stitch to be worked into, we are simply going to knit into it. And then I will go into the next stitch, have it jump up and over that first one. I will work my brioche knit, have the back stitch jump up and over the front one. I will go ahead and knit my next stitch, have the back stitch jump up and over the front one. Make sure you're not letting those get too tight. Make sure they have some space there. And then I could do my brioche knit. Now I'm going to show you something here just a little bit different, okay? You can decide which bind off you want to use. So this is the traditional bind off where you have the back stitch jump over the front stitch. Another thing you could do is once you get 2 stitches over on your right hand needle, take your left hand needle, stick it into the front leg of both of those stitches, and then knit them together. You're left with 1 stitch, and what you've done is this particular bind off is really stretchy. Let's go ahead, I'll knit the next stitch, take my left hand needle, stick it in the front leg of both of those stitches, yarn over my right hand needle, and then pop out and off. Do my brioche knit, take my left hand needle, put it in the front leg of those 2 stitches, yarn over my right hand needle and through. When I come off, what I've done here is I've bound off those 3 stitches and I get a really good stretch there. So that is another bind off you could choose. All you need to do now is just finish binding off your entire row, weave in your ends, and your fantastic brioche scarf is complete. Doesn't it feel good to know that you have learned an advanced stitch and you had no trouble whatsoever once you gave yourself a little bit of patience and you had Marley Bird by your side? I hope you'll come back here for more videos right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel teaching you how to become a better knitter or crocheter. Make sure you smash that like button and come back soon. I'll see you guys later. Bye.